I'm Eric, and I'm at Frog Island Zebu Ranch in Citra, Florida. This is Florida Natural Farming. So I'm out here with my little Zebus. They're amazing. This is our new bull. He's just a year old this month. Bogle Farms Hawk. This is Pumpkin. She's a yearling heifer. This is Peanut. She's a 2-year-old. She's only 28 inches. This is her full sister. This is Cookie. She's got this little spot on her back. She's quite beautiful, I think. She's tiny. This is one of the pest donkeys. They're all doing good. The pastures are looking good. Up here there's not a lot of grass because, you know, we mow around the barn here, and everyone hangs out up here. We have this donkey here that's been having feet issues, but hi P, I love you. But once you get down into the pastures, they're like super lush and thick, which is kind of amazing considering we're on a horrible drought. It hasn't rained here in a long time. People around here, they mow all their fields all the time, every week pretty much, and they have no grass. And here we are going into winter. It's fall now, so we're going into winter, and they have no grass but most of them have no animals. But the ones that have animals, they have no grass. And it's like, what are you thinking? I mean, what are you people thinking? Yeah, they don't like the little weeds and stuff, but it's all trying to fix the soil conditions is what's going on. And the weeds are going to be there whether it's mowed or not. Just whether or not they have a chance to put down roots and try to cure the compaction that has been caused by people. So because of the drought we've been having, we get moisture at night, and all this surface space of the long grass expands the amount of water that attaches to the plant and winds up being stored in the soil, in the root system of the plant. Short grass, there's less surface space for it to attach to, so you really want to have the tall grass, especially going into drought in the winter, because the dry season is just starting, and we never had a wet season here. A lot of you from California or areas that it's dry was like, it doesn't look like drought to me. Yeah, Florida drought's different than other area drought. This is basically, there's a levee here, and we are on the Black Sink Prairie. It's right on the other side of that levee. And so this is kind of low ground to begin with. But there's lots of grass here. Sure, it's not the best grass in the world, but it's a mix of weeds and grass and different stuff, perennials, annuals, you know, got a bunch of different stuff in here. We rotationally graze them, but we haven't had the need to buy any hay here, thank God. But we do give them a little tiny bit of hay at night, like a couple flakes each group of cows, not per cow, but two flakes, because we have 2 different herds going on. And this is a pond that should be filled to the top right now, and it is, I would say it's down 6 feet. It's probably at the same level as the Black Sink Prairie. So the water table is this low, and I see that the animals have been here eating the tips of the grass here, so that's good. There's alligators in here. There's alligators around here. I don't see any in here right now, though I did see something splash in the water, but I don't see any in here today. But yeah, this is like 6-7 feet low. It should be about up to here. kind of surprised that it's not, to be honest with you. But it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous here. Very lucky to have this farm. Couldn't imagine why anybody would mow something like this every week. But that's what they do. People don't seem to be able to learn or progress or evolve. If you're watching this channel, you know pretty much what you're doing, I would think. But also for the pollinators, there's no flowering herbaceous plants that come up in here like this, asters and stuff like that, that provide nectar for pollinators. So there's multiple reasons why you don't want to mow, but mostly because it disrupts the water cycle. So your soil's capacity to hold water is severely compromised when you mow due to compaction. So the rain hits it and it just runs right off because it's a compacted sandbag, basically, that is held together by a compacted root system of the short grass. I harp on this a lot, but it doesn't seem like anybody really cares. They just run off their programming, and they see their neighbors doing it. The neighbors will gaslight them and guilt them into mowing their lawn or their pasture in our case. But hi, P, you little angel. Hi, honey. This is Carnation. This is Pumpkin's daughter, or daughter. There's Pumpkin. She's cute. Hi, Nars. She's our wildest cat. I don't have no muffins. Hi, Kay. Hi, Peanut. Hi, Pumpkin. Hi, P. I'm sorry your foot is not doing well. Hi, Peanut. She's Pepsi's daughter. She's just so sweet. The birds always poop on her back, though. This heifer is a year younger than her, and she's like 2 inches taller. I think she's going to be a tiny little heifer. Hi, Butterbean. Oh, Monica. You're so special. Hi, Hank, you little angel. What are you doing, little guy? They're just really spectacular animals. They make me very happy. That's why we moved up here. He's going to be a phenomenal bull, and he's super sweet. You could hug him and do whatever you want. There's my girl, Pepsi. She's kind of turned into my partner Brian's cow, who hasn't been able to come out here because he's been severely sick with his cancer. And it's just like the most depressing situation we have for me. It's yesterday we found out after 2 days in the hospital that he has a very advanced stage 4 metastasized pancreatic cancer that has spread to his liver, and needs to get a pacemaker. This is somebody that was super healthy like 3 months ago. Pacemaker, full-on diabetes, blood clots, inoperable. Worst case scenario, basically. I depend on them for a lot, and we've been together 40 years, so it's kind of a shock. Still trying to sell our farm at Vero Beach, but nobody has stepped up, and it's ridiculously cheap. I guess no tropical fruit people have any money, or I don't know, but I do know that the best way to become an expert on tropical fruit is to buy a farm that's already established. Sure, it's not really a farm because I've never been into making money off of it, and I don't have to, so it's just, I trade for plants and trade fruit for stuff, and met a lot of cool people, which I think was its purpose for me. And it's an amazing place, but I can't get down there anymore because my partner can't take care of himself, basically. It's really gone downhill fast. I'm supposed to go to Costa Rica on the 7th. So I have his family coming down here, his brothers, for 10 days or longer. I'm sure they'll all want to move down here and get trailers for our property, but hopefully that's not going to try to happen. It's not going to happen. But we're not selling this place. Probably be easier to sell this place than there's our other herd. That's Pepsi's. These guys are really skinny because these heifers have been in heat. Nobody over in that pasture is pregnant, so they sit over here and do their dirty things. She's in here with them. They've gotten a little bit better, but they just spend all their time doing dirty things, looking through the fence and pining over their heifers that are over there, coming in heat and walking back and forth. You got to keep a pasture between these bulls and the unbred heifers for sure. So we rotationally graze them. Got lots of grass in there. This feed is not an issue. It's just horniness for them. Look how dry this is. This area we mowed, so look at how bad the grass looks. That's the thing, people. This is the area we did not mow, nice and green. Still not very tall. That's severely compacted is what that is. But look at these habanero peppers. Almost 6 feet, this one. And this is more than a couple years old. And there's a bunch in here growing. This is the old chicken coop. And there's also little Garcinia madrunas I planted in there. Let's see if I could zero in on one without going in there. Yes, I see one right in the center there. Right there. Yep. What's one? Stuff's growing. I've been planting a lot of stuff. I got a lot of plants from my friend Gemma and my friend Carlos Cruz. Plant Tips, I believe, on Etsy is their thing. PLANTTIPZ. Etsy plant seller. They have a lot of plants. I'm pretty sure that's what their return address said. So they've never talked to me about it, but I do know that they sell plants and stuff. So give them your business. They have a lot of hard to find, rare plants. Lots of plants too. Lots and lots of plants. I don't know how anybody does that plant business, but there hasn't been any rain, so there is zero chanterelle mushrooms, though not very many people were into foraging for mushrooms video, so that was kind of surprising to me. But the whole YouTube thing is kind of surprising to me, that people don't even open their eyes to what's going on here, and then they like have a informed opinion when they really don't know what they're talking about. Like, I mean, you could just look at like TFF and they'll comment that cacao can't be grown in Florida without a greenhouse, and it's like, where have you been, and who made you the expert? And obviously I've proven so many times that that's simply just not true, and you don't even have to water them. That's our big thing. We don't water anything, so I've never watered anything around here. Don't water it at our Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Paradise in Vero Beach, and everything seems to thrive. And when we moved here a year ago, the very first thing I did was I planted 165 bananas that I divided from Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, because there's more than 500 bananas that I divided there, and so there's big clumps of bananas now. We have banana fruit every day, year round. Not a rack every day, but there's bananas every day, all year. And you don't even have to water them. So these bananas have never been watered. I planted them in October, and they're ice cream bananas, which a lot of people said you can't grow up here, but they were rhizomes when I put them in the ground here, and survived all winter long, never sent down any roots, never died, never rotted. Really don't have, a lot of people think you have to do inputs with something like this. This is not the case. If this forest floor hadn't been severely compacted from being mowed for 20 years with heavy machinery and having all the trees sprayed with weed killer around them for 20 years, everything would be much further along. But people think you need to do inputs, but no inputs needed here. This is a giant input. If you don't have this, sure, you would have to do some sort of like compost daily, I would think. Small micro piles of compost, much like I did in Vero Beach, that did not have this huge overstory. But because of this, your unlimited carbon is in the ground, in the sand, which is the hardest thing to do in Florida, and is the biggest obstacle for people's success. But this is already here from these mostly old growth trees. There's a lot of younger trees, but they were slowly dying because this is compacted. That is the showstopper here and everywhere, I believe, for most people, and they're growing. And so I did do some piles around the bananas, this being one of them, compost pile, but never did anything. It's just like, it never did a thing. So I see the raccoons are starting to sharpen their claws on that one, so it's a problem. They did it on this one over here, I see. They like take them down when they're small like this, but I don't know why they do that. They're worse than big cat, but they look okay. And then around all these trees, I planted seeds and seedlings of little fruit trees. And maybe I can find one while I'm walking through here right now, because I know I planted, there's another compost pile I did. It didn't make a difference whether you put inputs. The only thing it would do is probably rot the roots when it's cold. So it's like unnecessary here. What I did do that I feel was very important was I did a banana root soil, indigenous soil from the banana roots from Frog Valley Farm with a raw Zebu turd, and I did a fling that I put all over everything. I think after I planted the first set of bananas, this first set. But here's another one I put compost around. It didn't matter. Compost did not matter. It just, people think that you have to feed bananas and feed them and feed them and feed them. And really there's a banana that the raccoons tore down. That's not the case. It's the water cycle, letting your soil go fallow so that the nutrients can bubble up from below, from the soil. And the soil can hold water. Once it's able to hold water, you're able to support life, which is plants. Life is the water. I go over this all the time. It's just, I feel like I'm a broken record, and it's kind of monotonous and boring to me at times, now being one of those times. But I wanted to get a video to get my head off of everything, and people seem to like this stuff. And there's always somebody that may not have ever heard it again, or heard it. So, because most people would say that you have to water the bananas and feed them heavily, but our bananas had never been watered, and this is zone 8A, I think. And these bananas did not even get dieback when it got to 26 degrees, did not brown up. So the original leaves, but these are all new leaves from this year. I only had like one leaf on them, these bananas, when I planted them. If we'd been getting rain, they'd be further along, but that's the showstopper. But a lot of people think that speedy growth is indicative of a healthy plant. And the only thing indicative of a healthy plant is a healthy orchard floor. And forest floor should not look like this. I mean, this is from years of spraying Roundup and mowing. And this is a year after not mowing for a year. And that's unhealthy. It's a little healthier, closer up here for some reason. But it should still be more robust than this. And that's that will be your indicator that your plant is healthy, is if your orchard floor is healthy. Here's a Rollinia seedling I planted that's being attacked by something. But seed grown from our tree, from our fruit in Vero Beach, Frog Valley. But these bananas are looking good. I'm happy with these. Yes, if we had had regular rainy season, they would probably be twice the size. But I am not a rusher on growth. I think that is over. You can accelerate growth and still not have a very healthy soil system by putting a bunch of manure around here and then watering it every day that it doesn't rain. It would grow super fast, but imagine the cold, wet manure during the winter, the cold months would cause it to rot and have fungal issues, I'm sure. And it's unnecessary. There's so many ways to grow plants, but really the correct way is nature's way. So people think that they have to apply nutrients and micronutrients, but that's not how you do it. You can apply all the minerals you want, but if you don't have the biology to convert those minerals, and if your source is polluted, which all mined substances are, heavy metals being the most problematic, then you're going to disrupt your balance of nutrients or take the job away from biology that can get the nutrients another way to the plant. So it's just humans impede the health of their system, I've noticed. So I've been planting lots of ginger and stuff along with my fruit trees and my seeds. And here's the awapui ginger I just recently divided and planted here. And these are both new. The main rhizome died, and so the pups came up. I thought there were 3, but it looks like there's just 2. I planted lots of costas. My friend Jenna gave me the insulin plant. I guess that's the one with the orange crepe flowers. This is a little citrus seedling. It's looking quite nice. There's a ginger right here that I planted. And there's another ginger, a torch ginger I planted not too long ago. It doesn't look very good, but I'm sure it's going to come up. Please do not push on my plants, cat, that I just didn't plant that long ago, my Colombian plumeria. This is that torch ginger. It looks alive though. I planted another one. Torch ginger is a little more tricky than the other gingers. The cassava is still hanging in there even though the deer eat it all the time. Not a problem. There's a Garcinia livingstonii and there's a citrus, clementine. Mm-hmm. Here's a Garcinia madruno. I'm pretty sure the Garcinias, and I know the citrus will grow because the fruit came from trees from this property, most of it, or from the property next door. There's another citrus. Here's some heliconias I did. There's a citrus here. They're getting big considering I planted them when they were like 2 inches tall max. That's about 6 inches. The yellowing is not an issue, but it's what happens in a dry farm system during drought a lot of times, if it's in full sun more so. But this pretty much is in full shade and it has the yellowing. But it seems like as soon as the rains come, they snap out of it, and the new growth will be lush and green. I don't really worry about yellowing or leaf miner. Here's the Garcinia Livingstonii planted next to this cassava. Please don't trash my plants now. Cat, come on. Snicks, come on. Hey, hey, hey. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Get away from there. Snicks, come on. Get over here. Boy, creatures. Love them, but they can really trash a plant. Especially newly planted. This is a heliconia I did. I'm not sure which one it is. There's a, banana. But I know I put some fruit trees around that. Here's a heliconia that's, this is that spreading shorter one. No, this is a calathea green ice, actually. That's what that is. I'm glad it's coming up good. It's a larger calathea. It's a plumeria I planted. This is a ginger I just planted recently. It's the Thai ginger, which is the main galangal ginger, I guess. There's several different types of galangal. There's lesser galangals, which is what we have at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. And then there's the Thai ginger, which is the most well-known main galangal ginger. Has white flowers on it without the red throats. There's some more heliconias, but there's different stuff in here. There's my costas cuttings I did. You don't have to do rhizomes with those. You just cut the spiral ginger. You just cut them and plant them from cuttings. This is one I just did that's got new growth coming out. They're everywhere. I planted them everywhere. I see they're all coming up, which I'm excited about. So I want to show this. This is a citrus during time of drought. This is what they will do when they're extremely drought stressed. The leaves will get very wrinkly and look wilted, but never fear, it will do well. This is Frank's yummy loquat. This is that Thai ginger earlier one I planted. They're quite nice. Quite nice. Got little cuttings in here of costas and tropical oregano and that lesser galangal from Frog Belly Tropical Fruit Farm. And I planted a lot of plants but recently from my friends that sent me boxes of plants. Thanks again, you guys. Keeps my mind off things. This is like turmeric I planted here. Oh, this is good. This is that Brazilian cloak with the big red flowers. Gets real tall and big, tropical plant. This is one of those new plants I just planted, but it doesn't look very happy, but my little citrus looks great. That's the cassava that just kept getting eaten. So I planted a bunch of aroids here. So aroids, my dry farmed aroids, they just, people think they have to be watered or whatever. It's like, they're just like everything else. They grow without being watered in the ground. So even sometimes in pots, they will grow without ever being watered. Usually they will grow, I should say, without being watered in pots, if there's a hole in the bottom. Not if you're using like chemical fertilizers and stuff. So then you have to water. Then you're forced to water. Otherwise your roots will burn, your plant will die. But these have been grown in compost that we make because we used to be biodynamic certified. And this is a nice one. And this is anthurium that my friend gave me. Come on, get away from the plants. Snickers, please. This is a cutting I did of the red hog plum, Spondius mombin. There's another anthurium. It looks good. This is a monstera. See, I just walked right on this. I gotta be careful. Seems to be doing okay. That's a monstera of some sort. Ow. Very dry. The neighbors have like mowed every week for a long time, and this is like below our property. This is like, this floods. This property next door floods. But it's very brown over there, and I don't know how you turn swampland into dried brown, but I guess by mowing it every week and not getting any rain. And you know, this is a year without mowing, so sure, it's in the shade of the trees, but the grass grows tall in shaded trees because this does get a lot of light different times of day when the sun's overhead, or it can grow thick if the soil was healthy. But this is a year. They mow their forests. Like over there, they mow. And the people over there, they mow. And this was mowed longest because this property used to own all the property around here. So this is what they were mowing the most. And this is the result. An orchard floor that in a lot of places has zero plant life because it's severely compacted. And you could put compost on top of it. It won't do any good. That causes nutrient pollution. It causes runoff when you have something like this. So I'm just not into it. Planting plants in it, more plants, is how you fix it in time. And they would rake up all the leaves and burn them and pick up all the Spanish moss that fell off these huge trees and burn that, and all the branches that fell, they would burn that, and we put a stop to that. Here's a citrus that looks very good, and I planted a plant that they gave me right next to it. And here's one of those Thai gingers I planted a couple weeks ago. It looks great. So they're gonna look good. I really want a lot of those Thai gingers, the important galangal. Here's a Garcinia madruna. The trees are all coming up pretty much. The seedlings I planted, the citrus trees seem to be doing well and growing well. And Garcinia livingstonia, yeah, I think I've planted more than probably 600 now. Garcinia seeds here, direct sowed. And they do great. What is that? Is that a citrus? This looks like a little citrus to me, but it could be a little oak tree. I'm not sure what it is. Here's another, the galangal ginger, or the Thai ginger. It's nice looking, and it gets about 8 feet tall. I planted a costa next to it, and then there's this Garcinia madruno, the chirichuela, the sour chirichuela madruno. And these bananas over here, I cut the tops of them off, so they're not quite as big, but some of them are getting big, and planted them in October. So I'm surprised that they just didn't die from the cold and the wet, but it's been dry. So here's a citrus. It's starting to show that drought stress. This is not leaf curl. This is drought stress right here, or leaf miner, not leaf curl. They look good. I'm happy. This is a torch ginger I just recently planted. Hopefully it makes it. Torch ginger is very tricky, and this is the pink one. It seems to be more cold tolerant than the red one, the giant red one, but we'll see. It makes a difference being planted under this huge oak overstory. It does make a difference. Here's another ginger. There's just a lot of stuff everywhere I've planted. I think we planted more than 200 citrus trees, seedlings that I started. Some people ask if I direct sowed seeds. I direct sow large seeds, but small seeds like citrus, I start in a pot. Apple seeds, start in a pot. I got a lot of apple seeds started. Here's one of those plants from my friend. This looks like the Kalancho hybrid that he sent. Of course, those are pretty impossible to kill from drought, but I'm sure that most stuff survives. So it's like, I would be surprised if everything didn't just grow. Here's a cashew that I direct sowed the seed from Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, which this year we had a bad production because the hailstorm broke all the flower panicles off and it did not rebloom. So it severely limited how much fruit we got, which kind of surprised me. The whole hailstorm surprised me. It had never happened, and it happened when the mangoes were just about ready and just damaged everything. Here's that Garcinia panguri. They say it's supposed to be more cold tolerant. I've found from Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm that how you grow determines the cold tolerance of your fruit trees. So if you're growing unnaturally, and the more unnatural you go, the less cold tolerant your trees will be. So as natural as possible makes the tree stronger. And because of that strength, it has the ability to overcome plant stressors like weather events or drought events or too much water events. But if you have a plant that's dependent on you for its nutrients and you haven't even looked at the soil, probably you're going to have to put heat lamps or burn something or cover it with cloth and a plastic tarp in order to overcome drought. But I don't do that. I never have. I just don't want to deal with it. You don't have to, but maybe eventually this will become common knowledge, but I doubt it because the chemical industry is completely owns the agriculture industry, just like it completely owns the medical industry. I know because I've been in the hospital a lot lately, and every square inch, every single item is plastic. The gowns which were once cotton are now plastic cloth. The sheets are now polyester. The bedding, the blankets are plastic cloth. Even the gowns that were once plastic have a 3M label on it. I'm pretty sure that the chemicals are the root cause of cancer for a lot of people. The forever chemicals that 3M made and then lied about, which now are posing as a friend of medicine. And people just don't look at it. Because it's everywhere, people don't look at it. The plastic pots, the plastic everything, it sheds off molecules that can cause cancer. This is known. You can't just not look at, you look at all the chemicals in organic agriculture, but completely ignore the 1,600 chemicals that are much more hazardous to our health that are in plastic. So it's bizarre to me that they can that they pick and choose what they are going to say is not healthy and can't be used. Supposedly, according to the organic farm standard, you cannot use a synthetic chemical for the production of food, but yet in all aspects of agriculture, plastic is used from the beginning, from the seed. How it's distributed, how it's fertilized, what it's grown in, what shade you're making for it, what greenhouse you have it in. It's all everywhere. The water it's being delivered in. It's like, hello. But, oh well. Hopefully, I don't know. It's hard for me to stay positive anymore. But people just are not aware of it, and they choose to just ignore it. And if you say something about it, they think you're a quack because they work for the plastic industry. They don't know it, but they work for free for the plastic industry, for the chemical industry. The medical is the worst. Everything is plastic. The tubes, the the things, all the plastic they waste, everything is individually packaged. The alcohol wipes are individually packaged. The saline things, individually packaged. Everything comes in plastic. It just goes right in the trash. The socks that they give you at the hospital, that they just throw them away. They're plastic. Everything is plastic. Everything is plastic in the hospital. I could not find anything that wasn't plastic. Everywhere. And highly concerning to me is the plastic cloth that they use, because that just shuffs off and gets in the air very easily. Plastic cloth is the worst. Shade cloth is the worst. It's not cloth, it's plastic, woven plastic. It's like polyester, which they figure is the major problem, easiest to be uptaken into our biological systems and wreak havoc on us. But anyway, this is the citrus that was here when I moved here, and I said that it had greening. It did have greening, and they were watering it. They watered this. They watered the forest floor, which causes its own set of problems. Distributed with PVC, so it's distributing forever chemical throughout the system, and then you mow it, and that's distributing forever chemical throughout the system because of the wire tires and compacting, and the sprinkling compacts, and it takes away. You shouldn't have to water in here because the mycorrhizal fungi that forms relationships with all these trees distribute water and get water, and they harvest water. But when you start watering, it diminishes the biology that is needed to sustain life. So it's just so bizarre. So anyway, these trees don't have any fruit on them this year. This one does. This one died. It had the greening the worst, but because I never watered them, they just never set fruit. They're very unhealthy, but hopefully it's like this one. This is one I said, oh, it has greening, it's definitely gonna die. It died. This one has greening, it's definitely gonna die. This one has greening, this one has greening. They all have greening. It's not the oak trees to protect them, it's the whole system. You can't get an immune response out of a plant if you have completely damaged the water holding capacity of your soil. When you damage the water holding capacity of your soil, you manage its ability for it to cycle nutrients. So it's just like a weird concept they've made with pollutants and management practices that are damaging our Florida, destroying it actually. The mowing is destroying Florida. So here's a heliconia I just planted. It looks very good. This is one of those gingers I just planted. I just brought that last week from Vero Beach. I haven't been able to get down there because I have to be a caregiver all the time, 24/7 it seems, but I had people down there checking on it and doing cool work and stuff. Friends of mine, thank you guys. Tim, I appreciate it. So it's not like sitting there empty. I'm just shocked that nobody has stepped up to buy that place. Then you get all these people that spend 3 hours there, come back more than once, 3 hours looking at a house and a garden, and silence, and tell you they're buying it to say to your face, this is what I'm going to do. And then silence. It's like, if you're that bored, please stay at home. It's like, oh my God. It's very frustrating. Yeah, I'd like to hang on to it, but I can't manage 2 properties by myself. It's just, I can't do it. Too far apart. If they were nearby, I could probably do it. Here's jackfruit. I showed this in my last video. So I direct sowed seeds. You can always tell a healthy soil if you can direct sow like jackfruit in it and they come up without being watered. So this is a cherry of the Rio Grande seedling I put here. This is a ginger I put here. This is an old cassava that just never snapped out of it, being eaten nonstop, like this cassava. One leaf on it left that they got last night or the day before. This is a jackfruit that Hi, Snickers. Leave my plants alone, please. The jackfruit that I direct sowed the seeds. I don't expect the jackfruits to survive the winter, but I have free seeds. I have unlimited seeds because of Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Paradise. There's a citrus, it's looking good. I haven't seen any greening issues with my seed grown citrus. Here's a jackfruit I planted here. Direct sowed the seed, and I also planted a Garcinia in the same hole with it, right here. Looks like a Madruno. Could be a something else, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's mostly what I planted here was Madruno and Garcinia Livingstonii. And I saw some other jackfruits, but I don't want to walk on them. Anyway, there's our pond. This pond is like super low. It should, this time of year, this should be high. So they sprayed Roundup all, weed killer all through here, and this is what happens. This is a year of not mowing, and it's like this. That's compaction. Yeah, the pond's very low. Beautiful property, huh? I love it here. Beautiful. Cool at night, gorgeous, nice, excellent. Beautiful spot. I love it. Anyway, that's it. That's video du jour. I'll make them while I can. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Pay attention to your plastic use. It does matter, and yeah, I just can't believe. I think they normalize it because all the hospitals and like University of Florida Agriculture department, their plant test garden is right near here, and they have like sprinklers on their oak trees, which I can't figure that one, but they also go around and spray weed killer around all their trees, so people see that and it normalizes it, and then other people mimic it, and I just am completely against that. And that test garden, that plant place that University of Florida has in citrus could be a premier Garden of Eden if they would just pay attention to what's going on around them and stop trying to destroy everything. Nothing against University of Florida. They have been the best source of help and comfort for me, and I think they're highly competent and knowledgeable. Just that people have become immune to stuff that is being done wrong, and nobody speaks up. Nobody speaks up about anything. They just go on and mimic. Anyway, have an excellent day. Thanks for watching.